Hello everybody, and welcome back to Shaming PENNDOT. Today we're going to be doing something a little different today. Yeah, I'm doing US 15 next week. So today we are doing Xavier ranks the two-digit Interstates Pennsylvania edition. This will be I-70, 76, 78, 79, 80, 81, 83, 84, 86, 90, 95, and 99. All of these interstates of which Control City Freak talked about. And yes, this is an inspiration from his series Todd Ranks the State DOTs, so I hope you enjoy. Alright, let's begin. Number 1 should be no surprise to any viewers of Control City Freak. It is going to be I-90. I-90 is nowhere near the rest of Pennsylvania when it comes to signage. At the first exit in Pennsylvania, after we've crossed in from Ohio, we can see that we are signed for Erie going eastbound and Cleveland for westbound. What great signage we have here. And on the other side, from New York, we can see Erie going westbound and Buffalo going eastbound, so perfect! I love this! And here in I-79, signed for Erie, even though it's going to go into Erie, so I guess that works. We get 90 West Cleveland and 90 East Buffalo. So they are nailing it here. This is the best signage in Pennsylvania by far. Even at the split with I-86, 90 East Buffalo. This is just phenomenal. Why can't the rest of Pennsylvania do this? Alright, number 2 is going to be I-76. Probably no surprises here either. Alright, I-76 is the turnpike, as everybody knows, and with the turnpike comes great signage. Off of 376 we can see Harrisburg for east and Ohio for west. I mean, I talked about that in the 376 video. I don't know if it should be Cleveland, because it is where the Ohio turnpike continues. Here is where 70 meets 76, and 76 is signed for Pittsburgh and Harrisburg, so that's the turnpike cities. Good job. And we get 76 West Pittsburgh and East 76 Philadelphia when we're near Harrisburg, so that's a good job too. And this is the reason why I had to bump down 76 to number 2. Valley Forge. Yeah, there's no such thing as Philadelphia. Valley Forge is the edge of the world. Well, except for New Jersey. Yes, it's where 76 joins the turnpike going westbound, but I don't care. It's like no one can go to Philadelphia at this point. And after Valley Forge, we do get Central Phila on the sign, but I don't know if that's saying much, because 76 doesn't actually go through Central Phila. That's only because of 676. And of course, Valley Forge for West. Terrible. No one's gonna go to Valley Forge just to turn around on 276 to go to New Jersey or New York. They're all going to be going to Harrisburg. And of course, Walt Whitman Bridge. I know 76 is going to end in New Jersey, like in the middle of nowhere, but it's going to be meeting the Atlantic City Expressway, so this should be signed for Atlantic City from here. Alright, number 3 is going to be I-86, which is literally just too short in Pennsylvania, so I guess I have to rank it this high. At the same split with 90 I showed you earlier, I-86 East is signed for Jamestown. Well, this is actually a New York problem, but Pennsylvania doesn't have to go along with New York. And yeah, at this one little exit we have in Pennsylvania, we get Jamestown, but we do get Erie going westbound, so I do give you credit for that. Alright, number 4 is going to be I-95. Alright, I-95 is normally signed for New York going northbound when we leave Philadelphia, and we do get Philadelphia when we're in the north where I-95 is in Pennsylvania, so that works very good. Though for whatever reason we do switch to Central Phila instead of just Philadelphia, which makes sense I guess since we're in Philadelphia's area right now, and we still have New York going north. Awesome. Now, I rank this lower than I-76 because 95 loves to have an obsession with Chester. Chester is basically a suburb of Philadelphia, so this should very well be Wilmington or Baltimore. And Trenton? Well, Todd has talked about that at length many times. That is never going to happen because the gap was closed and traffic is just going to be going to New York from this point. That sign should be replaced. And this is just bad. When we entered Pennsylvania from Delaware, we got a full pull-through for Chester. But the good news is we do have Philadelphia on there, so we just need to get rid of Chester. And here's the 495 split for Port of Wilmington and Baltimore. Port of Wilmington is there to differentiate from Wilmington, which is where 95 is going, and I think 495 signing for Baltimore. I don't know if it's faster, but it does say through traffic, so I'm gonna have to assume it is faster. Alright, number 5 is going to be my former hometown, 2-digit interstate, I-79. I did complain about Washington in my previous videos, but I think I've made my peace with it since it's about the same size as Morgantown, so it'd be weird to skip over it. As long as we have PA there to differentiate it from Washington, D.C., it's fine. At my former hometown's interstate junction, we get North I-79 for Erie. Great job, because we're in Pittsburgh and we don't want to have any other town in between. And 79 South for Washington. That's a little bit of a problem, because some signs don't actually have PA there, so that is confusing. I-79 where it meets with I-80 is signed pretty well. 79 North Erie, 79 South Pittsburgh, all you could hope for. In Washington PA, we get Waynesburg and Morgantown. For heaven's sake, that should just say Morgantown. I don't want Waynesburg on there, that is like small. And guess what? Waynesburg is the only thing we get at random interchanges between Washington PA and Waynesburg. Morgantown is nowhere to be seen. Though in Waynesburg we do finally get Morgantown, which should have been signed from Washington PA. By itself, I mean. Number 6 is going to be I-83. I will say that the only reason I ranked it down this far is because we are at the 81 interchange, and we sign 83 for South Harrisburg, which is basically just downtown Harrisburg. So all that should be signed for is downtown Harrisburg, not South Harrisburg. Here we are signed for York, which I feel is kinda sizable, but I don't know if Baltimore should be signed there, but that should work for southbound. There are some problems with interstates in Harrisburg. Here, 83 South is getting Harrisburg basically when we are approaching the city. That is no good. We should just go York or Baltimore from here. Here, we get 83 North for Harrisburg and Hershey. Hershey's there because of 322. And South 83 is going to York and Baltimore. At least you listed the 2 cities on there, so that is good. However, Baltimore swiftly goes away and we just get York, which I'm still a little undecided about. In York, we do get Baltimore and Harrisburg, which are the right choices. And here's the thing, Maryland actually continues to sign Baltimore on 83. So they're not looking provincial on I-83. Signing York on I-83 north at the first exit in Pennsylvania is not a very good move. I think you could just go Harrisburg, but I am a little undecided. Alright, number 7 is I-70. You might be surprised to see them this high. In the first exit we just get Wheeling, West Virginia, which works I guess, but Columbus would be better. And Washington PA. I mean, we're meeting with 79, but at least you have the PA there. New Stanton. This should come as no surprise to viewers of Control City Freak. This is absolutely abysmal. Yeah, we're meeting the Turnpike, but no one is going to New Stanton to double back on 76 to go to Ohio. And here's where 70 meets 76, and 70 is for Breezewood. Yeah, it leaves the Turnpike, but you know where 70's going? Baltimore. Baltimore, Harrisburg. That's the thing to do. The only reason why 70 is this high in the ranking is because we get Washington, D.C. and Baltimore. Yes, but it's here in Breezewood, the weirdest interstate place ever, and we get the good signage in the worst place ever. And after Breezewood, we just don't even get Baltimore or Washington, D.C. at all. We just get Hancock, which is nothing in Maryland. Yeah, we meet I-68, the most hyped interstate ever. But you should just stick with Baltimore from I-76. And Breezewood just because it meets the Turnpike. No, Pittsburgh. And when 70 leaves the Turnpike, we do get Wheeling, West Virginia. We are skipping over Washington, so I think this is a sensible choice. Though Columbus, as I stated earlier, would be better. Though Washington PA does actually come back, so this is at a minor interchange and not a major interchange, so this would work better. And of course, New Stanton. I am not going to mention that again. Alright, number 8 is going to be I-84 Eastern. With everything on the left signed for Scranton, which is completely fine, I-84 East is signed for Milford, which I said in the 380 video is so tiny that it should be Hartford. And it's like after Milford, Pennsylvania has nothing left to sign, so they just have to sign the first town in New York, Port Jervis, instead of Newburgh or Hartford, which should have been signed from the beginning. Ugh. However, going westbound, they do sign Scranton all the way from the start, so I do give them credit for that. It's just the small towns that keeps 84 this low. Number 9 is going to be I-81. At that same interchange I showed you with I-83, 81 gets North Harrisburg, which actually isn't even a thing, and Carlisle, where 81 doesn't even go through Carlisle, and just because it meets with the turnpike is nothing worth signing. Hazleton. I got no use for this one. Yeah, we meet I-80, but Hazleton, no. Just go Wilkes-Barre. Though in Hazleton, we do get 81 South Harrisburg, which I'm fine with signing far away, but 81 North does get signed for Wilkes-Barre, which I'm totally fine with. Here in Scranton, we get Wilkes-Barre South and Binghamton North. Fine choices here. The reason I didn't put 80 in the tens place is because this sign is pretty sensible. We get Scranton exits. You can go to these exits going south and these exits going north. No other state does this. Like, this is great. Alright, we're getting down to the drags. Number 10 is I-99. Altoona is fine. This is where I-99 starts nearby the turnpike, Breezewood 2.0. But once we get into Altoona, we get Tyrone. Population just over 5,000. Why? State College. And of course Bedford, just because of the turnpike. Why? Port Matilda, the Lyman of the East. There's no major junction here, population's like 500. No reason for this to be here at all. State College! Why do they refuse to sign State College on 99? However, they don't refuse to sign Altoona. Yet in Port Matilda, we do get State College. At last. Which should have been the control city from Altoona, not Bellefonte. At this point, it should be Williamsport, if anything in state. Even on I-80, nothing is right about this sign. It's not overhead, the terrible Bellefonte control city, where it should be State College. Everything here is just tomfoolery. Number 11, second to last, the penultimate interstate is I-78. At the start at I-81, we are given the correct choice of Allentown, though New York City would be a bit better, but Allentown is Pennsylvania's third largest city in population, so I don't hate it. And we don't even get New York in Allentown, all we get is New Jersey. But oh no, this is just a one-off thing, things are gonna get the worst of the worst. Up one exit or two, we just get Bethlehem, which is basically a suburb of Allentown. You can't even go further. And as Todd says, this is like the most offensive sign in the entire interstate highway system. Out of Bethlehem, we get Easton, and not New York City. Easton, yeah, it's the edge of the world. New York City doesn't exist. Yeah, we gotta go Easton. The road ends here, everything ends here. Pennsylvania. Though they do have New York City at the final exits, so they do realize that New York City exists, but only at the last exits. Why? It should have been New York City from the start. And in last place, I'm sure to nobody's surprise, I-80. In Ohio, they just completely signed New York, which is like one of the best signs in America. But in Pennsylvania, we get Sharon, Mercer, Clarion, Du Bois, Bellefonte, Williamsport, Milton, Bloomsburg, Hazleton, Stroudsburg, Delaware Water Gap, New Jersey! Conclusion, if you live in Pennsylvania, New York does not exist. Well, that was pretty offensive. New York does exist, but Pennsylvania is just super bad. So, time for the tier chart. Bring it up. Here it is. Alright, I'm gonna say in the S tier, we have 90. 90 is no surprise for S tier. Everything is absolutely fantastic. Erie, Cleveland, Buffalo, all that you can wish for on I-90. And I'm going to say nothing in A tier. Nothing really strikes me as A. But in the B tier, 76 is at the top of the B tier. The Turnpike is signed great up until Valley Forge, Central Villa, and Walt Whitman Bridge and all that stuff. But good cities on the turnpike keep it at B. I put 86 where it is because there's just like 2 signs on 86 in Pennsylvania. C tier, average, good jobs here and there, but there are bad jobs at other times. 95 with its obsession with Chester, 79 with Waynesburg, 83 with York and Harrisburg where it's not supposed to be signed. D tier, bad jobs, but certainly not the worst Pennsylvania can do. 70 with New Stanton and Breezewood and Hancock. The only thing that keeps them this high is the Washington, D.C. and Baltimore sign in Breezewood. 84 with Milford and Port Jervis, but Scranton going the other way is the only thing that keeps them this high. 81 with Chambersburg and Harrisburg in the wrong place, and Hazleton, but everything else is just fine. And final level, Pennsylvania tier. Everything is just super bad that you can't even take a look at the signs. 99 with its tiny towns, including Port Matilda, which is the Lyman of the East. 78 because of that one Easton sign, which that's just offensive as heck because New York is an hour and a half away, and you can't even sign it. But the only reason why it's not last is because they signed New York and Easton. And finally, I-80, where we have all the little towns, and New York is nowhere to be found. And that is it for this special episode of Shaming PENNDOT. If you disagree with my tier chart in any way, please let me know, and you can say where you think the interstates can go on the chart. Thanks for watching, and US 15 will be next. I will see you then.